Hello and welcome to today's training video on how to build a reference architecture for workloads running on Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. My name is Larry Beausoleil. I'm a Cloud Engineering Senior Enablement Manager here at Oracle. I'm going to take you through this journey. Let's first hop into the reference architecture that we're going to cover and break apart. In this reference architecture that you see here, we have a lot of different working components. We start here on the left and we have the user, which I'll highlight here. We have the user, and this is going to actually be sending traffic across. Now, one of the components that we see here as we kind of send this traffic across is what's called an internet gateway. So we have our internet gateway component here, and this is going to attach to our VCN. So that's why it's split down the center and attaching at our VCN level, which is our virtual cloud network. From here, we're going to have a different assortment of components that we want to define or have in our architecture. We have our public subnet here, and we may have a private subnet inside of that same VCN. Depending on how our architecture sits will dictate what we define for these. Now, our internet traffic is going to allow a bidirectional connection for our public subnets, but this is not going to allow traffic in for our private subnets. So as we get into the networking layer in the subsequent slides, we'll talk more about those components. We also have what's known as a compartment. Now, this compartment you'll see here is housing a specific VCN and a collection of resources. So we're going to define our compartments along with defining our overall location inside of the region. Is this going to be an availability domain, or are we splitting up these resources into specific fault domains? As you look around at this architecture, we also have our on-premises equipment, or from the office in which we're connecting from. And this is going to flow through our Fast Connect, which we have defined here, into our dynamic routing gateway. And we'll talk about that component as we progress through this. We have a fair amount of layers that are in this architecture, and we want to make sure that they're all highlighted. We want to make sure that every single component for our architecture is in this diagram as we present it. We may want to add items that are part of the VCN or part of the compartment, and maybe that's a policy, maybe it's a route table configuration for the VCN. Let's go ahead and dive into the networking layer and see what that looks like and what it entails to really highlight those resources. So inside of our networking layer here, we have a couple of considerations. So when deploying resources to Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, you might start small with a single connection to your on-premises network. And so in this case, we have our VCN here, and this also has a private subnet. This private subnet is going to be connected to our on-prem through a dynamic routing gateway. And this is one component that we can attach to the VCN. We also have our Fast Connect that we've documented here, along with our CPE or customer premises equipment. This is going to allow us to send traffic into the VCN without having an internet gateway. Now, what if we want to connect more to this? Well, we can definitely do that. We can add a VPN tunnel. We can add an array or assortment of other items. We're going to add a couple of VCNs here. So we add our VCNs, and now the user that we had in our overall architecture comes back to this picture because our user is going to hit our VCN A and go through our internet gateway to actually send traffic to where our application may sit. Now, to connect between our different VCNs, we're going to have what's called a local peering gateway. And you'll see one here on VCN A, and one on VCN B. What we also have added to our VCNs is something that we're going to need for our private subnets. So any private subnet may or may not need a NAT gateway. A NAT gateway is going to allow the resources in a private subnet, as you see named here, to go out and run updates or patching or connect to the internet from inside the private subnet. So this is doing network address translation. We can also get into the subnet, like we talked about in the previous slide, through going on-prem through Fast Connect or a VPN icon or tunnel that we define here. All right, our network layer is growing and we've added some more icons and components to this portion. Inside of our network layer, now we've added load balancers. So we've added a load balancer in our public subnet, and we have a few of these in public subnets that we have defined here. Now, this is going to distribute traffic to resources that may be in the private subnet or resources that we have or backend set that we have that's inside of that same subnet. So that is possible as we create these. What we're going to do, and I'll show you this later, we're going to have connections that we can actually draw to point to the resources and where they're actually sitting and where the traffic is actually flowing to. So you'll see we have a couple items here. So provisioning load balancers to provide automated traffic distribution from one entry point to multiple servers reachable from your VCN. So we're going to identify this in the public subnet, and this may be a public load balancer. If we set our load balancer, and we're going to pop into another portion here, we can have a load balancer in a private subnet. And in this case, we're distributing traffic for a private subnet to our backend set. So we can have public or private load balancers, and we're going to define which way the traffic's flowing. We've got the final picture at this point for our network layer, and this is going to have an internet gateway. We're going to have some public subnets, as you see here. We're going to also have some load balancers that sit in the public subnet and a load balancer that sits in the private subnets that are going to distribute traffic for some of our backend sets. Now you'll notice that the way the traffic is actually flowing, we have a user that's going to hit the internet gateway to go to some of our resources that are going to be in our public subnets. We also have our on-prem connection that's going to go through our dynamic routing gateway and send traffic to a private subnet, which will also allow us to go through our local peering gateways to send traffic to Virtual Cloud Network A and Virtual Cloud Network B. And we've defined which direction that traffic can flow by adding the arrows in both directions on these. One of the items that you'll notice in the bottom right-hand corner of all of our private and public subnets is this item here. Now this is for defining our security list. And so we can have a security list attached to a private subnet. Now we may have another icon that we're going to attach to resources that are using what's called a network security group. But let's go ahead and continue on this journey for our architectural design. The next portion or next layer that we want to consider as we build this out is our application layer and kind of our data flow layer. So what we're going to do here is we still have a couple of network components because we still want to define where the traffic's actually flowing for our application layer. Now inside of the application layer, we've added our file storage and we've added a couple of virtual machine options here. So we have maybe our domain controller, our Bastion with Linux, our Bastion for Windows, maybe our print server, that we've defined inside of here. And this is going to be something that's going to communicate back on-prem, or we're utilizing this compartment with this particular VCN as our shared resources. And so that's why this is defined in the way it's showing here. A couple of the other components that we're going to add for our application layer is compartment A. Now compartment A may be housing our public application that serves for our users that are accessing our web interface. This is going to go to our public load balancers, and that's going to distribute traffic to our backend set. And you'll notice here that we have some lines that are showing that are going to our backend VMs. And these are fixed servers. If we're doing auto scaling, we'd have a different icon for this to show that we're actually scaling those resources in and out behind our load balancer. And finally, for our data application flow, we're going to have our users coming in and we have a backend set for our application. So grouping of servers, provision for integration. And you'll notice that we have front-end servers that has a load balancer in between. that distribute traffic to a backend collection. And this is so that there's not a single point of failure and it's distributing traffic. So if you need to add or remove an item behind the load balancer, you're able to do so. We've also added our rack for Exadata CS, and we've also added our object storage icon where we're backing up or dumping some of our information into. Now you'll notice that this is actually sitting at the region level. Object storage is a region construct, so it's going to sit outside of the VCNs. It's going to sit outside of the compartment structure in a sense. This is something that object storage can sit here, or it can actually sit in a specific compartment that you actually create your object storage in. Since we can apply policies at the tenancy and compartment level. All right. Now the final picture for application layer and data flow. So we can see everything grouped together in their appropriate compartments and the connections that we have. And in this case, for our networking connections, we have an internet gateway that's allowing traffic in, a local peering gateway to communicate to the primary or the shared VCN or shared compartment that we have those resources in, and we have a way for coming from on-prem into the network. And so let's go ahead and talk about how we actually replicate this. So the next portion is replicating a region to region. So in some cases, we want to have two regions set up for our application or our entire stack. This could be front end or back end, however we want to define it. We have two regions here, two ADs, availability domains that we're utilizing, and we have a customer data center that we're going to be communicating from. And how are we going to connect our customer data center into our regions? Well, we have two options here. Let's take a look at what those are. We have Fast Connect, which we've defined with an icon here, and we also have our VPN tunnel. We also have a connection that's going to be from DRG to DRG, in this case for replication of some of our resources inside of our hub VCN. We also have our subnets defined in this case for what's happening. The other piece that we're going to define when we start getting into a region-to-region replication is some of the higher items that come in front of our region deployment, our application deployment. And those are going to be items like WAF, data guard, and how do we actually connect these regions using remote peering gateway. So you'll notice this is very similar to what a local peering gateway icon will look like. Now, all of these subnets are connected. We do have a hub and spoke design in each region. And so this is something that would be considered a active deployment when we start defining this. And that may be something that we document, what type of replication we have set and some of the other components that we want to deploy in this case. The full picture for this and the other items, maybe we're connecting to other resources or other components. And so we've added additional VPN tunnels, which are going to the same DRG. They're attached to our hub VCN. So we have other vendors, and then we still have our data guard and other components. And this is showing where traffic is coming in from on-prem. And if you want to add, you can also add a user and show traffic hitting the WAF before it goes to your application. All right, what are the icons that I talked about today and how do we actually put them into our slide deck? Well, one of the things we want to do is maintain proper proportions. And so that can be done by just holding down the shift and then expanding that icon so we make sure we get the correct scale. For colors, this is something that we have a specific color scheme that we would appreciate you using when you're actually defining this. And these are things that you can pull from the slide deck that is found on this page. We also have groupings for the collection of resources, and this is something that we have specific colors that we would really appreciate you using when you're creating our architectures to make sure that they're consistent across the board. Some of the groupings consist of our compartment, our tenancy, VCNs, and you'll notice that the VCNs have this icon in the corner, and subnets have this icon. We also can add public and private for a naming of this, and we can add other items. Maybe we have tags. There are icons for adding tags and then adding the appropriate tag to that particular resource. Connecting between resources can be done in a few simple ways. Again, using the specific colors for these connections, and depending on how the traffic flows, dictates which ones we want to use. So if the traffic is flowing to a particular resource, we want to make sure that we have the arrows showing that it's flowing that way. In this case, we have a resource here and a collection of resources here. The traffic may flow back and forth, and so the arrows are going to indicate traffic flowing back and forth. So we want to define that, and then we can have our security list. We also have our CIDR range that is noted here. Here's another example of what the architecture should look like, and we've added a couple ADs. If we're not using all the ADs, you can remove this. The other items that we want to have here are identity and access management, audit, and then just have our general flow of traffic from on-prem, adding our VPN tunnels, our CIDR blocks that we're using, and we can use this at the VCN level and the subnet level. All right, what are the icons that we have here? Well, for compute, we have a few different icons. We have our bare metal, we have our virtual machines, we have persistent volumes, local storage, container registry functions. For networking, as you saw, we have our load balancers, we have our internet gateways, and if you're going to service endpoints, we have our service gateway that we would add to our VCN. And you'll notice that there is a slight difference to our local peering gateway and our remote peering gateway. This one is arced, and this one is straight across. This is for VCN to VCN, virtual cloud network to virtual cloud network with inside of a region. This one is for a cross region. We also have our VPN, DNS icon, fast connect, customer premises equipment, firewalls, network switch, content distribution network, NAT gateway, a backbone, router. All these icons can be used to really solidify and make sure that the architecture is as full as possible. And when I say that, I mean as accurate and documented in the way that it is set up currently. We also have our governance icons, so users, groups, compartments, policies, tagging, security, making if we're using Key Vault, identity and access management, security zone, which is going to be a lockdown compartment or a lockdown setup, queuing, workflow, notifications, API services, and finally we have some of our data management, our storage, analytics, low code, and others. So if you're using other cloud service, we have an icon that you can utilize for that, and then you can add the direction of traffic, you can add where these items sit, and maybe add a note of what they're actually doing. Thank you for joining me today on understanding and creating a Oracle Cloud Infrastructure Reference Architecture.